Hey, what's going on, dudes? My name is TDC and welcome to a village overhaul series. So this is going to be a short little mini series, a building tutorial series, whatever you want to call it, where I show you how I would overhaul this village. And hopefully you can take some of these build designs and ideas into your single player world or to your server, however you want to do it. And I think it should be a lot of fun. So today we are going to be focusing on paths. I'm going to show you how I do paths and everything that is involved with them, but we will also eventually be moving on to the buildings. So we'll do the dimensions of this normal vanilla village here. So we got 3x3s, we got 5x5s, 4x4s, and whatever these ones are shaped as. So it should be a lot of fun, man. I think this village is going to look awesome when we're all said and done. But anyways, we are going to keep these short and sweet. So today we are going to be working on paths. Okay, well, first things first is we are going to get rid of this path. Now you can use the normal vanilla path if you would like to, but I don't prefer it. It's very clean cut, straight edges and everything like that, and it just looks too predictable. Now I like to make things really, really random, and that's actually a big part on how I get my paths to look the way that they do. So first things first we're going to do here is rip all of this path out, and we'll come back and show you how it's done. Now if you don't know, it's actually much faster to remove this much dirt if you're playing in survival with an efficiency 5 unbreaking 3 shovel as compared to trying to remove this all in creative mode where it's just one block at a time. That's how I prefer to do it if you're building in creative, but if you are building in survival, you got it a little bit easier. It's about the only thing that's easier in survival mode. Alright, so now that we got those paths all out of the way, it is time to start placing blocks. And I just wanted to say, I think that this is actually a little bit easier to do when you're building paths. It's easier to dig out trenches where you want your path to go. That way you can kind of see how they all lay out. That's how I do it in my single player world. That's how we're going to do it here. So we basically have all these trenches dug where we want our paths to go, so we can kind of see how they connect up and how they look. And if we need to connect, like something right here, we could probably dig over a little bit more and connect these paths up if we wanted to, maybe curve it a little bit. It's much easier to do that before you start placing blocks than after, because once you start laying down blocks and stuff, it's always easier to get it done first and then go on to placing blocks. At least that's how I think about it. So anyways, these are the blocks that I like to use for paths. Now you can switch these out for whatever you want. If you've got a certain color scheme going on, you can always play around with it. Like if you want to use prismarine, if you got brighter colors, or you can even go darker with like nether bricks. But these are kind of the blocks that I like using for my certain build style, and I've got a little bit more of a medieval or rustic build style, and I feel like these blocks go really, really well. So starting from left to right, in no specific order really, we have stone slabs, cracked stone bricks, mossy stone bricks, coarse dirt, andesite, smooth stone, cobblestone, grass blocks, dirt, and gravel. Now we've also got podzol, which we can use every now and then, but I find it's better to use this as kind of like flower bed material, and maybe like some leaf piles or something like that. So the main block that we use for our paths is gravel. Now this is my number one block. I do not ever throw away gravel in my world because I know eventually we're going to use it for paths. So it's time to bust out all those double chests of gravel that you have just laying around and stop throwing it out if you're going mining, because it's going to be very useful. So how I do this is very random. I try to avoid patterns at all costs, and basically what I do is on the side of the trench that I dug, I just basically stand here and I walk back and just randomly place blocks. Right? So this is what you want. And in vanilla, in creative mode, it's a little bit easier because you can kind of fly around, but I'll show you how I do it in my vanilla series. Is basically, as we just move on, I will just place blocks like this randomly, and I'll even run and jump and just place random blocks here and there. Because random is what you want. Random is much better than having things organized because it just looks too premeditated. And in my opinion, the random is what makes it look really, really good. Now that we got the gravel laid down, this is going to be our main block. There should be more gravel than anything else. Now the next one is going to be cobblestone. Now, cobblestone, we want to place down quite a bit, but not as much as we did the gravel. And we're going to do it in the same sort of fashion. We're just going to be placing random blocks here and there just to kind of fill in some of these gaps and throw off a bunch of stuff here. So let's see. Throw these down here. We'll make one more path back this way. Like so. I think that actually looks pretty good. Now I can see that we have some big chunks of cobble and gravel, so we'll probably come back and we'll knock some of this stuff out here. We can always get rid of, we can always change blocks out eventually later on if we need to. So this is what we're gonna do. We'll take out a couple of these blocks here, and that should be good. So next, what we're going to use is the stone slabs. Now stone slabs, stone bricks, and what else do we want to use here? We'll use stone. We're going to go a little bit more sparingly with these blocks since they have much sharper textures. Now these, they kind of blend just a little bit. They have very busy textures, so it's kind of hard from an angle or a distance to see, what block is what. But if we come down here and we place down a stone slab, come down here, you can very easily tell that I say easily, but you can tell that there's a stone slab down there, and it's not, it's very different from all the other blocks. So that's what we want to try to avoid. We want to use these a little bit more sparingly than we did the cobble and dirt, but it's basically the same thing. As we just come through and we kind of just lay down some random ones here and there. We don't want too many of these clumped together. Like a couple of them is fine, but you want to try to at least have 1 or 2 blocks in between them if you can. And I feel like that actually looks pretty decent. Yeah, it's not bad. So now we'll come back in with the stone bricks, right? So stone bricks, same thing. Just kind of randomly throw them down like so. We'll just fill in some of these smaller gaps. The stone bricks, I think, are okay to have a few of them placed next to each other because they blend a little bit better than the stone slabs. Stone slabs are just very white. So it's hard to kind of differentiate the stone bricks from a distance from the other blocks. So now that we got those placed, now we can come back in with the stone. Actually, what am I doing here? Let's go back here. We'll use the stone. And we're actually going to use the stone to swap out some of the other blocks. So we'll do stone there, there, put one there, and just kind of fill in some of these gaps like so. And so now you can see that we've got a bunch of stone textures here. And so now it's time to start adding in some grass and some dirt and coarse dirt. We can do coarse dirt too. So we'll just start off by throwing these. We'll fill in all the gaps right here with grass, and we'll just see what that kind of looks like. Now I can already tell you that the 3 wide path is not doing it for me. I don't like it. It's too plain going all the way through. So what we're going to do is we're going to come kind of along the sides here, and we're just going to bust out a bunch of just random blocks. If we mess up and we break some of the blocks that we already have, that's fine. Not that big of a deal, but yeah. So we kind of want to spread our path out just a little bit more. And now that I'm looking at it, there's a little bit too much grass. So we'll go ahead and take out some of the grass blocks. And then we can come back in and basically do exactly what we just did. And just kind of rinse and repeat. So that's pretty much it. I mean, you can come back in later on too. After you have all the gaps filled in, you can kind of take a look and see that, like right here, we've got a bunch of gravel, and we could probably switch some of this up if we wanted to. So let's do a stone slab right there, and then let's try to find another spot. We've got a bunch. This is actually pretty well mixed up. Not bad. Got a bunch of gravel right here, so let's knock that out. And since we have a couple of stone slabs here, but I'm not seeing any stone brick or normal smooth stone, so we could actually go ahead and throw some of that in here. Got a couple pieces of cobble. We'll switch that out with some more stone, and I think that actually looks really good. So that's how I do paths. Now I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the whole rest of these paths here and show you what it can look like on a large scale. Alright, so there we go. It is a little bit busy for this simple village, but once we start adding some other details to the houses and stuff like that, it's going to blend in very nicely. So this is my ideal path. Now, to some people, this may look like garbage, but, you know, it's all a matter of opinion. You can switch out some of these blocks with whatever you want. I just like the randomness of it, and that's how I've always done my paths, and I don't know, I think it looks really cool. So if you've got ideas or constructive criticism or anything like that, make sure you leave it in a comment down below, because I'm always open for new improvements and different things like that, and it's awesome. If you want to check out some of these paths in like a real single player world environment, make sure you go check out my single player series, my Minecraft world, and there's a lot of good stuff over there. I kind of try to walk you through some of the builds that I do in the series, but it's more of just you know, a let's play environment, not necessarily a tutorial environment. So that's what this series is for. And I think next episode we're going to be working on some of these smaller houses. I think these 4x5 houses we can do a lot of work with. So we're going to mess around with that next time. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. And as always, hit that like button for me down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next one, all right? Thanks so much for watching. Peace.